Hello students, I welcome you all to CBSE 10th Standard Lesson 3, two stories about flying from first flight. We are going to deal the second part, The Black Aeroplane, written by Frederick Forsyth. Frederick Forsyth, the author himself, worked in military. So he owned an old Dakota aeroplane. Once the pilot is lost in the dark storm clouds. Does he arrive safe? Who helps him? Let us see in the following story. Coming to the first passage of the lesson, the moon was coming up in the east behind me and stars were shining in the clear sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was happy to be alone, high up above the sleeping countryside. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. That means the author, Frederick Forsyth, is flying from France back to England. So he worked in France and England is his native. And he started at 1:30 at night in his old Dakota, and the sky was really clear and the stars were twinkling. And he was very happy to meet his family back in England. Coming to the second paragraph, I should call Paris control soon, I thought. As I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane, I saw the lights of a big city in front of me. I switched on the radio and said, Paris control, Dakota DS-088 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England. Over. The voice from the radio answered me immediately. DS-088? I can hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now, DS-088, over. I checked the map and the compass, switched over to my second and last fuel tank and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. Here it means, students, that the author called the Paris control soon to get the directions, and immediately he got connected, and the lady said that he has to turn to 12 degree west towards England. Now coming to the next paragraph, I will be in time for breakfast, I thought, a good big English breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me when I saw the clouds. Storm clouds, they were huge. They looked like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. I knew I could not fly up and over them, and I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or south. I ought to go back to Paris, I thought. But I wanted to get home. I wanted that breakfast. I will take the risk, I thought, and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. I looked at the compass. I couldn't believe my eyes. The compass was turning round and round and round. It was dead. It would not work. The other instruments were suddenly dead too. I tried the radio. Children, in this passage, he was very happy that he is flying back to his home in England, in London, to meet his family for Christmas. And secondly, he was so happy that he's going to have his big, good English breakfast. And as he crossed about 150 kilometers from Paris, what happened? He saw a dark cloud like huge mountains, black mountains. But still he thought, I will take the risk. So he went into the black clouds. As soon as he reached there, he couldn't see anything. His Dakota was jumping. He lost control of his plane, and all the instrument, the compass, the map, the radio, everything was dead. It was not working and he couldn't connect to the tower. Coming to the next passage, he's shouting, Paris control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm. Then in the black clouds, quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. I could see the pilot's face turn towards me. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and waved. "Follow me," he was saying. "Follow me." He knows that I am lost. I thought, he's trying to help me. He turned his aeroplane slowly to the north in front of my Dakota so that it would be easy for me to follow him. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. Children, in this passage, the author lost control with the Paris Tower and his word radio was dead, compass was not working, he doesn't know what to do, he was lost in the storm, he doesn't know the path, and now he was a bit worried, he was very worried, and suddenly he saw another black aeroplane in front of him and he was wondering who could take the risk of coming into this black storm. But he was so happy that he got a company, and he was in front of me waving his hand. He looked at me and said, "Come on, follow me." So I was like an obedient child following the black aeroplane. And the aeroplane was dark. There was no lights on its wings. So it was a bit mysterious, but still I followed because I had no other choice. Coming to the text again, back. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the clouds. Now there was only enough fuel in the old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. I was starting to feel frightened again. But then he started to go down and I followed through the storm. Suddenly I came out of the clouds and saw 2 long straight lines of lights in front of me. Wow, it was a runway, an airport. I was safe. I turned to look for my friend in the black aeroplane, but the sky was empty. There was nothing there. The black aeroplane was gone. I could not see it anywhere. Children, in this passage, the author is saying that half an hour the strange black aeroplane was with the author's old Dakota, and again the second time the author became frightened because his last tank had less fuel and he could run only for 5 or 10 minutes more. Now he came out of the black storm because the strange aeroplane showed the way. Now the author could see the runway, the airport. That was such a relief for him, and he was looking for the black aeroplane, but the aeroplane was gone. Coming to the next passage, I landed and I was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. I went and asked a woman in the control center where I was and who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thank you. She looked at me very strangely and then laughed. Another aeroplane? Up there in this storm? No other aeroplanes were flying tonight. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. So who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or a radio and without any more fuel in my tanks? Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? So in this passage, children, the author, Frederick Forsyth, arrived safely in an airport. He doesn't know where he has landed, so he was not scared to leave his aeroplane and immediately he headed to the control center and asked a woman sitting there and inquired about the other black aeroplane. She looked at him in a strange way and then laughed. She said, "Dear sir, there was no other aeroplane in this storm, and who would take the risk of flying in this storm? You were the only one in the sky." And the author was a bit confused and he was thinking about the mysterious black aeroplane. Who was that aeroplane? Why did he come? Why was he so eager to help him? The author felt that the black aeroplane was mysterious because all of a sudden he appeared in front of him and the aeroplane was without lights and without any sign of saying goodbye or thank you. It just vanished as soon as he got out of the dark storm. So who would it be, the black? Any guesses, children? Yes, The author was hallucinating. That means he was under pressure and in a risk and he was about to crash. So it was out of his own personality that, the expertise came out and he controlled the aeroplane, and it was his own capability that he found the route to the airport. That the lesson we learn is he conquered his fear and he found a route to come out of the risky situation. So now we have come to the end of the lesson, children. I hope you should have understood the lesson clearly. Read the lesson thoroughly, and thank you so much.